rivers are winding, big nuggets they're finding. North to Alaska, go north, the rush is on. Way up north to Alaska, way up. North to Alaska, way up. North to Alaska, go north, the rush is on.
We set sail for Alaska in July of 23. Candy heard tell of an ancient legend through her quilting guild, a legend that told of a smoked salmon so fine that people would risk their lives for a mere taste. The rare and valued salmon was said to be found in the Alaskan town of Ketchikan. We were determined to find it. For me, the promise of salt spray and the smell of the ocean was an irresistible call, hearkening back to my days in the U.S. Navy. We pulled out of port under the sure hand of our captain, the Seattle skyline receding in the distance. However, pirates immediately appeared as if from nowhere, seeking to board and plunder our vessel. One followed us for nearly a league. Two others soon joined him, one who perished in the deadly wake of our ship, and the other who followed us into open water until our valiant crew outran them. We never learned of their fate. For days we traveled northward, knowing not what awaited us. Being poor and humble, Candy and I traveled in steerage. But occasionally we caught glimpses of the opulence and wealth enjoyed by the more affluent passengers. It seemed like months, but at last we reached Juneau, Alaska. Candy and I found quarters in a local hotel. A bear befriended us. The bear also helped us find honest work, painting cryptic messages for an Alaskan rock climbing cult on the side of a mountain. The meaning of these messages remain a mystery, but we believe the paintings were some kind of appeal to a parochial deity. Eventually, we were able to continue our journey northward, and in a short time reached Skagway. The mountain vistas were stunning. Candy and I took on work as stagehands for a local band. For reasons we could not fathom, the band failed, and so we made our way to a passing ship where we hired on as deckhands. Unbeknownst to us, however, the ship carried a tragic cargo. The unsuspecting passengers had been lured aboard with the promise of free wine and a good time. But they were ultimately destined for the northern glaciers, where they would be fed to hungry bears as part of a national park bear repopulation program. Candy was horrified. I used our time on the ship to covertly document this fiendish plot, which I would later furnish as evidence to the FBI. Fearing that the National Park Service would ultimately dispose of us in a similar way, Candy and I did our best to blend in and avoid arousing suspicion. We soon found ourselves in Glacier Bay. In Glacier Bay, we waited for our opportunity, and when the ghoulish park rangers were distracted, Candy and I gathered as many passengers as we could muster and made a dash for freedom on one of the lifeboats. Once on shore, we separated from the others and made our way along the rocky coastline, still determined to reach Ketchikan and find the fabled smoked salmon. Eventually, we found a crew of honest metal workers who hid us from the Park Service and gave us transport to Ketchikan in exchange for our labor in helping them build an oil pipeline. At last, we reached Ketchikan, home of the finest smoked salmon in the world. We could almost taste it. We knew it was here. But how do we find the best of the best? There was salmon everywhere, and yet we weren't looking for just any salmon. We were searching for the finest salmon. We hadn't come this far only to settle for lesser imitations. We searched day and night, high and low. We crossed raging rivers. We walked for miles until, in our delirium, we had a vision from the great salmon totem god. And the totem god spoke to us and said, "Go to Simply Salmon, and you will find what you seek." A sense of peace fell upon us. The answer was as clear as spring water. We must find Simply Salmon. We walked no more than a block, and there it was, the home of the world's finest smoked salmon. We went inside and were greeted by the owners, who rewarded our long, perilous journey with smoked salmon. We bought 2 packages, and our quest was complete. We had been drawn to Ketchikan salmon like a bee to honey. The taste made our hearts sing like a bird. It was as fresh as a Ketchikan flower. But this was Alaska, and just then a large hungry bear appeared outside of the store. He too was searching for salmon. We grabbed our bag and ran in terror through the town streets to the harbor. At the harbor, we purchased passage on a humble fishing vessel back to Seattle. From Seattle, we made our way home, where at last we feasted on the finest smoked salmon in the world.
Hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises early in the morning. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? He'll haul him until he's sober. He'll haul him until he's sober. He'll haul him until he's sober early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Throw him in a boat with the captain's daughter. Throw him in a boat with the captain's daughter. Throw him in a boat with the captain's daughter early in the morning. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Whalers.